They know my story.
But it's awesome. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for the Geek Pridecast on this Sunday evening, or you're our guest tonight, or it's this afternoon. What is it, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
1 o'clock. So, tonight with me, we have my co-host, Peter Ray Allison.
Good evening, everyone.
And our special guest tonight, joining us again, Dana Fredsti.
Hi there.
And our second guest, we have Alina Andrei.
Hello.
Right, ladies, it's good to have some female representation on this podcast for once, because we're very much lacking in that sort of area. But Dana, how are you? Welcome back. How's things? What have you been up to?
Thank you. Oh God. I have been. What have I been up to? Lots and lots and lots of working at a haunted museum as our marketing and events coordinator, doing a pitch for a new Joe Ledger anthology. I've got a story that I'll be writing for that. Doing a pitch for Weird Tales magazine. I'm also the submissions editor for Weird Tales. I work with Jonathan Mayberry on that. I've been walking my dog, and I've got the 10 cats, so I've been cleaning lots of litter boxes. That's life. Glamorous life of a writer right there.
And Elena, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Worker sort.
Oh, I met Dana years ago in sword fighting class. So in Hollywood, I think it was Hollywood or Burbank. So I've known Dana for a long time, and she's amazing, and I learned under her. But I started out as an immigrant, and I immigrated from Romania, and then I saw my first film, Star Wars, which started the whole sword fighting action thing. And then I ended up I did my first live show in Michigan when I was studying at an engineering university to be an engineer. That's what my dad wanted. I was like, that didn't happen. So I would go drive from Flint to Ann Arbor and do 3 hours of 3 times a week of sword fighting and stunt class, because I did the Renaissance Festival there, which had own live danger show. It was like a big deal, which is my thing when I was 19, 20. And then I came to LA in 2001, and I started training as an actor, and I started training martial arts, and I kept up my sword fighting connection from Michigan to LA, and that's how I met Dana with that whole group in Burbank. And I just kind of kept at it. I realized through stunts, I got more acting auditions because the coordinators would send me in with a couple girls instead of me and 300. So I started my career mainly through stunts and stunt coordinators and selecting directors. And it was great because I had already a martial arts background, and I had 6 years of sword fighting training plus 4 years or 5 years of acting training when I met a stunt coordinator, and he got me on Charmed. I actually was standing in on Charmed. This is how he gave me a stunt person. I was standing in on Charmed. And my friend grabbed me. He's like, "Hey, I want you to be the stunt coordinator." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you'd be good at stunts." I'm like, "They exist?" I was like, "I thought actors did all their own stunts because actors were often out of this training." I was like, "Stunt people, what? No." So he grabbed me from stage 25 at Paramount to meet Noor Sadi, who was a stunt coordinator of Charmed, and he was doing a little fight scene in this behind this like giant black SUV. And he introduced me, my friend Troy. He's like, "This is Alina. She's new to stunts." I was like, "Yeah." Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just lunchtime going to Paramount parking lot. He never even asked me to this day how you got on the lot. He never did. So by itself. And my resume had 2 dinky little credits because I was like 26. I came to LA when I was 22. But I had all this training. So I had sword fighting training from Michigan. I had sword fighting training with everybody from the group there. I had 4 or 5 years of Muay Thai martial arts training and screen fighting. And I had a bunch of other improv training. She's like, "Oh, you have a lot of training." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, well, do you want to be a Valkyrie next week?" And I was like, "Sure."
Fuck yeah. I want to be a Valkyrie.
Like, are you with a stunt service? I'm like, "Nope." He's like, "Do you have stunt pads?" I'm like, "What's that?" So totally green, right? I didn't know this was called hustling. Didn't even know I was hustling. I was just meeting a coordinator. And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll call you next week for 2 days to be a Valkyrie," because he needed a girl that can sword fight and then fall back on something. I was like, "Yeah, that's me. I can sword fight. I do that shit in my sleep." So I got called in from Bill's Stunt Service. I registered with Bill's Stunt Services. I showed up, and I got this really cute little outfit, and I swung a sword, and I blew up in a fireball because, Charm was all about mythical fantasy creatures. And then I saw my paycheck, and I was like, "What the shit is this?" I'm I've been working 5 jobs. I can't even make this in one day. And I was like, oh, hell, this is what I'm going to be be
It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Yeah, but I met so many cool people that day that ended up becoming my good friends later on. And I started training. I was training Muay Thai at the time. I got into Taekwondo. I got into later on Jiu-Jitsu and grappling. And then I started Wushu and then started martial arts training. And I kept up my sword training with Dan and Jan in Burbank. And then I just fucking hustled like a crazy person. I hustled like a dude. Like I didn't have my tits out. I showed up respectfully. I hustled like a guy. All right, am I allowed to say that? Whatever. So.
This is going to be an awesome podcast.
By the way, I'm over 35. My filter's gone. It's fucking left the building.
Hey,
so,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is why I wanted you on here.
What now, huh?
Who brought this whirlwind upon us?
I love the filter.
I know. Dana's my
I remember you always.
Aw, her and I would have wine together, and she would tell me like the wisdom of the world, and I was like, "Fucking love you, Dana." And then she moved, and I was like, "God damn it, why'd she go?"
Okay. So how where's the connection? Where's the connection? How did you meet?
Sword fighting class.
Okay, I'm gonna say we met in Michigan. We did not meet at Dan and Jan's in the academy. I came back as a guest instructor at Ring of Steel. I met you when you were 17, and we started talking because you'd hurt your leg or something. And I went to get you arnica. I don't even remember why I remember this, but I do. And we just clicked. I mean, it's just, she also reminded me of me when I was younger. Just everything about, just the love of sword fighting and her energy. And then she moved out to LA and you started coming over to Glendale and hanging out. And we watched the episode of Eliminate together that you did. And then you started working out with Dan and Jan too. And yes, I remember Eliminate, all of this stuff. So yeah, it was wonderful. And when she's one of the only... When Alina asks you for advice, she's one of the only people that I met in her 20s that when she asks you, she really wants to hear what you say, and she actually acts on it. She was one of the most mature people I have ever met. I have nothing but nice things and nice memories of this woman. So.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, this is what I wanted but never got. I had a brother, so it was lame. I was like, oh, great, boy. Yeah. Was older sister. I was 19 when I met you because I was 19 because it was in Michigan. I was going to school. You're right. Ring of Steel is when I met you. Wow.
Yeah.
God, been forever. Yeah. I'm 44 now. Holy shit. It's like been 5 lifetimes. Yeah. Dana's amazing. Yeah. We go way back. Yeah. Way back to.
Wow. So so she met you when you were 19. My math.
25 years ago.
Yeah, 25 years. Wow.
19, and then I came to LA when I was 22, and I turned 23. Yeah, and that's when I hooked up with Dana again and went to Jan. I was like, I'm here, guys, and that's when Jan made me go, scoop up horse shit and all this crap and maybe work.
When did you move from?
What?
I
I paid my dues. Yeah.
When did you move from Romania? What age were you when you moved across from Romania?
5.
Oh, you were 5.
Wow.
And this is how bad the Romanian mafia was. The same thing like the Ukrainian mafia, what's happening in Ukraine right now, because Ukrainian mafia are assholes and I feel bad for those people. The Romanian mafia was the same thing. My dad had threatened the Romanian government to get us, he wanted us to Christmas to 82, and in spite they kept us until January 83. And we finally immigrated. We had money. My dad had to pay a lot of money to bring us over. And he had legal right because he married my mom. But then I found out when I was 31 I was adopted. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast. So.
Wow.
There's a lot of
we'll have to get you back on your own just to sort of go through it all.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of Europeans have these kinds of stories where they found they're adopted later on because this happened and whatever. Because, communism and crazy times. So anyway.
Hashtag communism. There you go. That's
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, being brought up in communism, having an early childhood, it really makes you sniff out the bullshit from a young age. So
are you really blunt? So I used to date a Polish girl, and there's a girl who does some stuff for the website called Daniela, who's from Romania as well. She lives in Romania, and they're very blunt. There's no sort of sugarcoating things. It's like they say what they mean, and it's just that's just the way it is. Is that how you are?
I can it depends if I have more sugar or I don't know, alcohol, but I don't really drink. I'm not trying to say I'm an alcoholic. I'm not. No, at all. No, I think Europeans are brought up to be very direct and honest, but you know, I say it with tact. I'm not gonna be mean. Like I've said, you know, I've done white lies with people like, oh, does it make it look fat? I'm like, no, you look really curvy. It's beautiful. So, you know, stuff like that. I have a barometer, but yeah, Europeans are just really direct, and we have no, you know, it's kind of how I was raised, I guess, but in a good.
Have you ever seen there was just a thing I'm not sure if it's still on Netflix, but there was a thing called Chuck Norris versus Communism, and it was basically about the pirate tape business in Romania and how because didn't you have like a famous dubber or somebody who used to do loads of sort of kind of dubbing for American films, and because it was technically illegal because obviously you know, communism, and they don't want Americans sort of, you know, culture dripping into it and stuff. But they had this sort of underground, like pirate video sort of kind of thing going on, and it's a documentary about all these videos that come in, and this lady who did a lot of the dubbing for all these films. Yeah, it's worth a watch if you ever get a chance.
Okay, I love Netflix documentaries. That's the only reason I keep it, because it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is stunt work like for females? I mean, what's the kind of, you know, male to female ratio?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more women, you know, generated movies now, or women in power films. I mean, when I started, it was like maybe 1 female cop and 10 male cops, but now they're putting more women in it and whatnot. There's a lot of great male stunt coordinators. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, loudmouth a lot of males, because a lot of really amazing men that hired me and continue to hire me, and they're really great and they support women. It's just, you know, every generation that comes in, it's just, they get really old programming, bring in the new, but now there's so many male, female driven. Like I just got done writing a Western, and in the Western, it's called The 5 Aces, and it's about these 5 women ganging up on the men, on these 2 outlaws that have done a lot of raping and pillaging when they were, you know, younger. But I need a lot of men for this movie, because it's all about the outlaws and the posses, and it's really a lot of work for men as well, but it's women generated. I think now that more women writers, producers have come in, it's balanced out the stunts and the acting, but, you know, I don't know, it's changed a lot in a good way. It's just, you know, as you get older, I can't do the crazy shit I could do when I was 26. Now it's like, oh yeah, I'm unavailable for a car hit, I'm doing something else, sorry. And it's funny, because when I started, the women in their 40s would pass up the jobs that came to me, and now I'm doing it. So it's hilarious. You know, you want to, I love that Dana as a writer, she actually inspired me, because I started writing more and I started doing more of my own stuff when I was younger, because I love storytelling. I think I got into stunts because I knew I could storytell with action, and I learned how to, once you do the action, you know how to film it, and then once you know how to film, you know how to write it. But I really am a storyteller, and it's just, I love doing the whole empowerment women version, because I've studied a lot of women throughout time that were amazing and nobody knows about them. It's time to tell those stories too. So that's why I love Dana's work and what she did. So I support all women and empowered writers, because it's good to just bring it back to balance, right?
Well, one thing I've noticed as well is there are a lot of women in HEMA, historical European martial arts and swordplay at the moment. And I mean, like, we've had Fran Laquata on the podcast previously, and she was like very much a sword fighter. And like, I think both you, Dana, and you, Elena, are massive sword fighters. So is that seem to be like more a female leaning in swordplay, or is it 50-50?
It used to be mainly male, and if you were a woman in it, then you got put in a lot of sort of cliche female type roles in it. When I started doing it, I said the hell with that and broke that mold for myself. I wish that I'd come along later, because now, oh my God, there's so many women in sword fighting, and it's wonderful. I'm teaching. A couple of the people I work with really want to learn, so I came out of, you know, retirement, and I've been teaching sword fighting again, and it's very cool. So
yeah, if it wasn't for women
what
like
do you
me
think?
Before me, she helped break the mold, and she helped break the gas ceiling for women like me to come in. And I think every woman's responsibility to come in and have her impact, but I'm glad Dana is who she is, and she did before me, because I think she helped open up. Because when I saw her sword fight, I was like, oh my gosh, she's badass, I want to be like her, and help motivate me.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's how it is. You know, helped motivate everyone else. And it's funny because I'm in Tahoe right now, and I'm about to start a sword fighting class up here. Many women want to learn how to sword fight, so I might start one up in Tahoe just for and get the bokens, you know, like the wooden swords, and train them on those and put them through and stuff.
Okay, my American geography's pretty bad. Where's Tahoe? I know there's Lake Tahoe. I know there's Lake Tahoe.
It's Lake Tahoe. I'm in Lake Tahoe. I'm north of Lake Tahoe. That's why I still go to LA to work, so I drive back and forth because I love it. But I'm up here now with the bears and the pine trees and the clean air.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 7 hours east of LA, up north. Like it's Northern California. It's very close to Northern California because its border is right there. Yeah.
I went to Tahoe many years ago when I flew to San Francisco and then drove to Burning Man, and absolutely love the Tahoe City, Lake Tahoe, and I was supposed to walk around and go, I want to retire here. This is where I want to move to because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing up here. I needed a break from the city life for a while. Plus, everything in LA got so expensive because everyone from New York and Chicago started moving in. The houses were going up for sale like crazy, and so the renters were getting pushed out. So luckily, I found a cute little place up here and it worked out. But I still drive to LA for work. Like last week, I was working, and I drive back up, and it's a scenic drive with the lakes and the mountains. I mean, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's therapy. When you drive, you're talking to your friends, you're listening to music. It's like your own therapy. I meditate while I'm driving. It's great. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
we drove from LA to Vegas San Diego, because we were in San Diego for Comic-Con, and then we went to Vegas afterwards and stuff. And it was just like the drive from there to like Vegas. It's just like these like massive open plains of just like,
nothing.
Yeah, it's just so insane. Like, you don't get anything like that over here and stuff, and it's just sort of like, it's insane. I thought, it would be quite boring, but it was just so, the immenseness of it all was just so, it just...
Yeah, the world is not populated, the cities are overpopulated. That's it. When you go out to the middle of nowhere, it's like, oh, there's one house there and one house there. You could literally sprawl out and have enough room for everybody. It's just the cities are overpopulated, that's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Going back to sword play, well, I mean, you mentioned wushu. Now, I've gone back to kung fu now after 20-year gap due to life getting in the way. And where before my teacher was male, my sifu is now female, Reb. And I think she's about my age, and she is just far more flexible, stronger, and just better than I will ever be. And she's fantastic at it. I mean, I was working out. I was doing some stretching exercises and working out on the session on Tuesday, and actually gave myself a fever from overdoing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I mean, like, how do you kind of keep in shape, and like, how do you push yourself, but without pushing yourself too far? And how do you know what the cutting off limit is, and how do you all balance it out?
I think everyone's body's different. I gotta listen to my body because I've had a lot of neck trauma from doing crazy, like jumping out of cars and stair falls. And then I fell on my neck 3 years ago, had a really bad falling on my neck on a movie in Hawaii. It was great because I always wanted to create a movie in Hawaii on my birthday, and I got that. But then 2 days later, I almost died. So I was like, fuck you, Dark Side. I'm not going anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, bastards. I got shit to do. So anyway, since then I've been learning to modify with my neck, and I do a lot of, it's just comes with the territory with stunts. You never know. Even with swords, I've had Dana knows how many people have skewer do with weapons. You're like, okay, thanks. You almost got my boob or my liver. I don't know.
I almost got my arm broken. So yeah. I think when it comes to on Army of Darkness, one of the guys, instead of parrying, he cut and he slammed me in the arm. And if it had been an aluminum sword, I would have had a broken arm and been off the film. That's a whole nother story right there when we talk about the difference between men and women and how we were treated back in the day. But I
why? Let's talk. What was the difference?
Oh, well, here's the thing. If you were a woman and you got hurt, I mean, when you're talking about how do you know when your body has done too much, sometimes but you keep pushing it. And for me, it was being surrounded by mostly men doing sword fighting. And the falls and all the kind of stuff that we used to do in class, and then on Army of Darkness. And I was hurt, and the producer made me go to the hospital. It hurt a lot. I mean, and I was told I was probably going to be off the film, which made tears well up in my eyes. So when I came back, I found out that the guys, especially the guy that had hit me, who felt guilty about it, they started going on about, oh, women are hysterical, and she can't handle it. She shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, hey, screw you. If you've gotten your arm broken, or thought your arm was broken, maybe you'd be swearing and acting like a little baby man. But it's, the whole thing about how women can't control their emotions, bullshit. We have to hold it in a lot of the times, especially back then, because if you let it out, then the same thing that a guy could do, and it was considered just, this is how guys are, and they're men, and they're expressing themselves. With us, it was like, oh, no, she's hysterical, or she's overreacting. And it's like, I still get angry, as you can probably tell, the smoke coming out of my ears. I still get really angry when I think about that, because I worked my ass off. I was better than a lot of the guys that I worked with. And I can say that now because I can look back at it and go, yeah, I really, yes. It pisses me off. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm kidding.
Justifiably, to be fair. Because, I mean, yeah. My Sifu is just like far more competent at wushu than I will ever be. And, I have no kind of, qualms admitting that. Because, she's far more dedicated towards it than I am. Yeah, and I mean, I think there's been definite change. I think, thank goodness, there's been a definite change in in the perception, especially amongst in certain industries that what women are capable of, and that just as capable as men, to be fair.
Here's another really good example. Elena, remember Eliminate? She was in the show Eliminate, and there was Alina and these three kind of giggly, typical women, and the dude that was picking his date was your typical macho guy. Alina could, they went horseback riding, and she was the only one that wasn't afraid of horses and was just really competent about it and said, here, this is how you do it. And of course she got eliminated because she was competent and wasn't afraid to show it. And the other women were all about big horse, and the guy has to do it and show it how to, the guy must save us, basically. And that's another really good example of the kind of shit we used to go through.
I was just trying to show
perception. So
really, he couldn't move the horse. I said, "Well, kick the horse," because at the time I was taking lessons with Dan and Jan and a bunch of other guys, stunt guys. So I was more comfortable on horses. Like, kick the horse to go. He's like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "Well, kick it harder," and then. That's why I got eliminated. And the funny thing is I was giving producers sword fight lessons. And they really didn't want me to go. They were mad I got eliminated. They're like, we want her to stay. But he's like, nope. I want to be with a sissy, really.
Eliminated, as in just sort of out of the process to be this,
show. Yeah, I only got on it because the only reason I did it because I knew it was reality, porn, whatever. And I said, I'll do it if I can show me clips of me sword fighting. And show me do my thing, like, oh yeah, I would love to do that. That's the only reason I did it. And I know it's gonna get eliminated at some point, but I knew after I showed him how to kick the horse, I was like, oh, I'm gone. All right.
Right.
But yeah, Dana remembers all that. That's funny. You're the only one that knows I did eliminate until now.
Yeah, Alina, I've seen your demo reel, the body rock demo reel on YouTube, and you fall down a lot of stairs.
Yep.
You fall down a lot of stairs. I've fallen downstairs once and dislocated my arm doing it. How do you fall downstairs without damaging yourself?
There's an art to it. You got to put the pads in the right places, and you got to tuck and roll, and it's coming. But it's funny, I'll still have slits. Like I'm sure Dana's had her. I still have slits of where, the stairs missed there and a missed there. And some are padded, but some you go really fast. And I remember one time, speaking of Dana and emotion, so I did this commercial for the Swedish car company, and it was I don't know what it was, but they didn't pay me as much as they should have. I did the stair fall 9 times, and I had to break glass on the way down. They wanted me to break glass. I'm like, why did you put a monkey on my back, light me on fire, and make me play with clowns? It's like, I had to break glass on the way down. It's on my wheel. And I played a mom who was doing laundry, and she steps in a little boy's truck, and poof, there I go. After the 8th time, I started crying. And not because I couldn't do it, but because my emotional female body was like, what the fuck are you doing, you crazy bitch? Why are you falling down the stairs so much? the coordinator, I'm gonna go cry in a corner now for 2 minutes. I gotta do. Oh, plus I think I was PMSing. Whatever, that didn't help. So I went to go cry in a corner of the stage. I was like, oh my god. I came back. Oh, I can do it again. He's like, okay. He's like, don't worry, I have 3 daughters. I'm like, I know. So I did it one more time, and then we're done. But it's like my body can only handle so much trauma, and then it was it. I actually did it 3 times, but because the director wanted to see us, like they think we're indispensable. I'm like, I'm not immortal. Okay, I have a body. I need to work tomorrow. You got 2 more takes, and that's it. The best coordinators know what to say. The ones don't have backbone, not so much. But I remember crying after the 7th or 8th time because my body was like, had enough. I had to like let go of that energy so it doesn't fester and become a disease. And then I went home and I took a bath and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I forgot about it. But that's how I processed that whole trauma of stuff. And but he let me do it. He's like, I understand. I just got a little emotional because my body was just like starting to get all the trauma impacted. But it's always, everything's timed out. Your body knows what's going on. Your brain knows what's going on. But you know what I learned 3 years ago when I almost fell on my neck and I almost had a bad accident is when your body goes through a trauma. I had to go do the stunt. Oh, I did that stunt 17 more times. I did it 8 times in the morning and 8 times in the afternoon. I did a fall on a cliff 19 times. My friend had 19 videos of it because this director thought he was God's gift of fucking directing because he was the nephew of some famous actor I'm not going to mention. So he's like, oh, he was treating 35-year-old camera veterans like they were nothing. He was on a mic going, you're filming it wrong. This is to 35-year-old camera veterans. I was like, I was warned about this director. And now I know why I was warned. I fell on my take on my second, on my neck on the second take. I did it 7 more times. We had it in the first 4. I remember I saw the footage of this movie on Netflix. I'm like, I had it after the 3rd take. But the thing is, when you get hurt, your body will override, your brain will override your body. So no matter what you want to do, your brain's gonna be like, nope, nope, nope. My arms weren't going fast enough because my brain just, I just fell on my neck. So my body's trying to protect itself. I haven't had that in a long time where I couldn't perform like I wanted to because my body was trying to protect myself and my brain was just shutting me down. So that's kind of what happens when you get hurt on set. You got to find a way to underride your brain. It was crazy, but I did it. Anyway, I learned a lot.
Do they sort of coat, do they coat stairs and things in any like a rubber latex or anything to make it slightly softer for you, or?
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Oh, the best thing was when I doubled Mila Jovovich in Puerto Rico, and I had to do this fight on a cliff. And I knew the cliff was going to be rocky, so I was prepared in my head with like having rocky rocks and having thrown. Turns out the set dresser guy, I don't know who he was, but he needs to be given a big box of chocolates. They made the cliff out of rubber. They used a rubber cliff set on top of the cliff. So everything was rubber when I threw her down, and when she threw me down, I was like, oh my God, I love you. I can fight on rubber. He made the whole thing rubber. I'm like, I know this is possible. He's like, yeah, we did it for you girls. I'm like, thank you. Everything was done so precisely and so well done. We did it in 1 take and it was done. I was like, okay, it was 1 take wonder. They had 4 cameras and they shot it, and then they put Mila in and the whoever, but they made a whole cliff out of rubber in Puerto Rico. I was like, wow. Why
do you get paid by the stunt, or do you get paid by the day? So like, is it better for you to do things over and over again because you get paid for being there longer, or is it basically a day rate? It's just like, I've done it.
It depends on the job, but you do have your daily rate, and then you have your adjustment on top, and the adjustment is by the coordinator who decides what to give you. Some are really cheap and some are amazing that will give you like a lot of money. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it. But it depends. The more times you do it, it depends on how many times you do it and how intense it is, really. I mean, how crazy it is for your body. But yeah, it's a crazy ride. I never thought I would get into stunts because I thought actors did all their own stunts. Little did I know.
Have either of you ever said no to a stunt?
Yeah, a couple times. I mean, yeah, it's funny because I can't do low budget things anymore. The low budget are the ones you get hurt on the most, actually, because the director's not experienced. They don't know how to carefully set up a shot. They mess up the shots all the time. They allow bugs and birds to fly in, and you just did something really amazing. Like, we're gonna do it again. I'm like, well, get your shit together, because I can't do this 5 more times. So I turned down a lot of lower budget stuff now, just because I've paid my dues in that area. Trust me, I've paid my and I stick with more of the well-organized sets like TV, network TV, or movies that have a budget, because they know what they're doing. Honestly, it's just, that's how it is. Anyway.
How about you, Dana? Did you ever?
I'm not a stuntman. I'm a specialty player, sword fight. I did stunts in one movie, but something I want to make really clear: Alina is the real thing. I don't fall down the stairs unless I trip. You know, my love was sword fighting. I love martial arts too, and fights, but I never, was set on fire. I never did any kind of high fall. The most, I rappelled down a 30-foot drop, and that's about it. But no, I've never had anything presented to me that I felt I couldn't do, because I never went into that. I think if someone had said, "Do you want to be set on fire?" it would be no. Speaking of Alina, have you fire gag? Have you done that?
Do you say
a fire gag?
Yeah, I did one time. I did a full fire gag. It was for this independent film. It was, again, independent film, not knowing what they're doing, low budget. And it was set on fire. They're only going to pay me $350 a day to set on fire. But I was supposed to be a vampire on fire in the middle of the night. They waited until sunrise to light me on fire. So I'm sitting there in these like 3 gel outfits, shivering. I'm like, oh, I'm so cold, because they put 3 gel outfits on for the fire stuff. They light me on fire. I was like, oh, this feels nice. I'm lit on fire. Okay, I'm doing my thing. All of a sudden, 9 seconds, the fire comes up to my face. Oh, I gotta go down now. It's on my fucking face. So I fell down. I did a great job. They loved it, but they couldn't catch it on camera because it was sunrise. So anyway,
amateurs.
Yeah, amateur.
And it was a vampire. And I'm from Transylvania, so it was like, oh, finally get to play a vampire. Woo!
Lad Tippish.
Nobody saw it. I think I Googled myself a couple times, and I found a girl on fire with my name. I was like, hoping that's me, but I don't want to use it and then put it on social media and be like, hey, that's me, and be like, oh, she's taking my work. So I don't know if it was me. I never got the footage, but yeah, I was on fire. There were shits and giggles to see how it feels. It feels really good when you're cold, but then you're like, oh shit, I'm on fire. I forgot. And kind of go down on the ground. I did it one time. I think I did a partial burn once. I forgot. But the people that do fire really know. They have their shit together. They're ready, they're on it.
So Dana, they didn't set you on fire in Army of Darkness then?
No, I was just a happy little sword fighting deadite. I fell down. I almost got trampled by the army when armies of Richard, when they were crossing the battlefield to hug each other. We were lying dead there. That was actually the most dangerous stunt I've ever done, is lying there and almost getting trampled by a bunch of extras in armor. That's scary, because you don't know what they're going to do. They're not trained. They're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I agree. It was like being in the middle of a buffalo herd, and just sort of really hoping that the gods smiled down on you and you lived to fight again. So
yeah, I mean, given all your 20 plus years of experience being a stunt performer, how do you feel now about actors doing their own stunts? Do you feel like, no, fine, great, it's an actor getting stuck in, or do you want, no, I want a professional?
No, I'm an actor too. I started as an actor, so I'm, a lot of times I get paid to be an actor with her own stunts, or a stunt actor, because they get to, I do both, save the money. Yeah. Actors have different backgrounds, and when I started in the business, I got a lot of shit because I had an acting background, like a lot of shit from stunt people. And I was like, well, when you're doubling someone, aren't you mimicking them? Aren't you acting like the actor? Aren't you walking like them and talking like them before you do your crazy stuff? So you are actually acting like your actor or your actress. It's called acting. You have to mimic them. Hello, wakey. So anyway, I got a lot of shit because I had an acting background, but then I proved them all wrong, because the stunt acting thing started to go crazy. And that's when they brought in stunt people that can act, or actors that can do their own stunts, I guess, to save money and hire us. So the stunt acting craze went crazy. And that's when I started booking more jobs, because I had a good acting background. I knew what I was doing, and I kept it small. So I came in, and 9 times out of 10, I booked all the stunt acting auditions, and I make the coordinators look good, because I could come in, take the hit, and do the acting and not complain. Like some of the actresses would complain, and some are really great. There's some amazing actors that have a really good background in athletics. It just depends, how much they've learned or how much they've studied or trained. There's some amazing actors that have huge martial arts background. I worked with them recently on a couple movies. They're amazing. They're like a specialty in that martial art, and the movie's about them and their martial arts journey as an actor or the character. So it depends. But, sword fighting started it all. I kept up my sword fighting training because they were going to do some big sword fighting movies were going to come out. In fact, Dana, they were going to have a TV series called Booty. It was going to be a female Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff. I was on it. I was working on It was Greg Barnett coordinated it. We did a pilot or a teaser or something, and I was going to be the reoccurring pirate on it, and then I was going to be the double for the girl, and I was going to be working all the time. But this was way before, like, it was way ahead of its time. Now it would go. This was back in, like, I think
they're thinking about a new Pirates of the Caribbean with a female lead at the minute, aren't they?
Yep.
Who was it? Who's going to be? Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie.
Yes.
It's going to be an Anne Bonny Mary Reed type of thing, and that was greenlit before COVID. But I don't know what they did to it since then. But they should. It'll be all female pirates. That'll be right up my alley. That'll be great.
Hell, yeah. Gets my vote.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of badass female pirates for that time. There's Grace O'Malley. There's Anne Bonny Mary Reed. There's a famous Asian sea captain that led a bunch of ships.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
Where are these stories, you know? But,
so obviously there was for both of you, because you can tell from your sort of the passion that comes from you, that the male how do I put this, there was a lot of sexism in the past when it came to women stunt coordinators and stunt actors. Is that something that is progressing now, or are you still finding that is a problem?
No, a lot of female stunt coordinators are coming up. Many, actually. Zoe Bell just coordinated something, I think, for Quentin recently. A lot of women, girls that I started with, are now coordinating. I may think about coordinating. I don't know what I'm going to do with my career next choice, but it's opened up the floodgates to women coordinators. It's more balanced than it was back in the day. For real, yeah. It's just, the older generations of stuntmen were cowboys, and they grew up differently, and then they started retiring, and then the new guys came up, and then now it's more inclusive, and there's a lot more female coordinators. And I was supposed to coordinate a film in March, but it got pushed back, or I didn't know what happened. My name was actually put in by a fellow male stunt coordinator, stunt friend, and I'm glad he did. But nothing ever happened with that. So it's more balanced out now, for sure, than it was back in the 80s, or even when Dana was, doing her thing. But there's a lot more female stuff now. I mean, there's and different ethnicities and different races, which is great, because there's stories throughout every culture that was amazing that women have done. It's just, I'm all about balance, I want it to be balanced with everything, because there's amazing stories with a male and female together throughout time, that partnerships that could be told as well. It's just, it's coming out of the woodwork now, I think, finally, because more female producers, writers, and creators and directors are getting a chance to do their thing. So that's what I think.
After when it comes to stunt work, do you have to kind of allow for recovery time after each stunt has been accomplished, or is this business going to the next stunt, just keep going and keep going and keep going?
It depends. There's some days I can check to see on set what's going to happen. Like, I got to call my chiropractor, because I know I'm going to book something, because I have to book something after this. It just depends on what I'm doing. Luckily, I do a lot more stunt acting work, more acting. But when I'm doubling, sometimes I got to do some crazy shot, and I'm already scheduling my massage therapy and my chiropractor, knowing when I need them. But it depends. I've learned how to pick better jobs, because there's some things I just don't want to do anymore, because my body can only hit a certain amount of trauma before it starts to act funny. And you gotta be smart. Women's bodies are smaller than men. We have smaller bones. We can't do the longevity like men can. So you have to go into other areas of the business, or other, careers, I guess. But yeah, I've learned how to call the chiropractor, have them on speed dial, or know which one I'm gonna go to, or,
Yeah. Okay. I mean, one thing I've noticed as well is Elena is basically straight out of the Elise Rieger novel.
I wanted to cast her as Ashley Parker today, so.
No, I was reading Hollywood Monsters, your latest Lee Strieger novel, and yeah, I mean, it's literally, it's like I'm talking to Lee Strieger here.
Oh, cool. See?
Yeah.
God bless Dana for putting me in a book. I was like, I'm in a book, guys.
No, it's like, it's
I interviewed.
Sorry.
when I started writing the Lee Striga novels, one of the first people I contacted was Alina, and we spent, I think, 2 hours on the phone. And I was asking her a lot of the same questions you were, because I'd been out of the business for so long and never really, like I said, in the stunt business. And so, yeah, a lot of what has, gone into those books has come from interviews with her, with Jason, I can't remember his last name. But yeah, there's a lot of influence from Alina in those books. So.
Yeah, just from even the gig element and the hustling and the sex
the
and
hustling.
Yeah, it's just absolutely true.
Yep. There's a scene, I think it's the second book, Alina, and I went back to your notes, and I swear to God, there might even be just a direct, Alina quote in that. I have to go back and look again, because, yeah. It's like,
all right. I love it. Write what you know, right? The best writers write what you know, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I love that.
Or write what your friends know.
So what's up next? What have we got coming up next, books wise?
Oh gosh. We are working probably a dark sword and sorcery, a very dark cosmic horror sword and sorcery novel that Dave and I are going to co-write. We're waiting for Hollywood Monsters to come out. There's a lot of promo going on for that. And yeah, we'll see after that. I kind of took a break because I had to promote Hollywood Monsters for one thing, and marketing, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And then, I also have this day job, and I was just very burned out and I needed a break. So definitely the dark sword and sorcery. After that, we'll see. I'm just kind of waiting to see what I want to do again and what happens with Hollywood Monsters, because I could write at least 3 more books in that series easy. I've got character arcs.
Please do.
For Africa for that one. It's a lot of stuff. So we'll see.
I want to see more stories about Alina. I mean, Lee.
Into a series, because right here you cast me.
Make a business, right?
It picks up and be a TV series or a movie or something. It'd be really cool. Because now they're always coming.
Did I give you a copy of the books? Do you have copies of them?
I don't. I want to read it. I never got a copy. So I give you an address.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll send you my address. I can start reading it. It'd be great. Like, sweet. Now I can read with all the squirrels in the tree, so I'm good.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'm not jealous at all.
That's me. So Alina, you said you were writing as well. Are you in the? Have you had anything published, or are you just sort of kind of dabbling in it? What's the?
No, I did. I created my own how-to sword fighting series. Dana knows about this years ago. That's actually did really good. We got sales on that, and then I created a short film called The Flower of Battle. It was just something I put together about the Protestant Catholic uprising. But then I created my own franchise, Omega One franchise. I started that from scratch with my writing partner, and it was a female-born ultimatum Dark Angel, and I co-wrote that. I created it, the character. I did the Comic-Con circuit for a year and a half dressed as Omega One, and we got in front of Sony and Fox, and we almost got a green light when I was 30, but it didn't go because at the time they had Sarah Connor, and they had Painkiller Jane, and they had already female-driven, tough, awesome. But then, the strike happened, and then that went out the window. And then since then, I created a thing called What About Walda, a comedy series about Waldo's long-lost sister and how she hates not getting attention. And working me, that was my LA Connection improv graduate character. I had to come up with a character. That was Walda, and I created that a long time ago. And then I turned into a TV pilot. And then I wrote a thing called The Five Aces, a female badass Western. And that did get shopped around on Netflix, but then someone said, oh, we need it for Movie of the Week, and I got to write another 30 pages. So I'm still writing on the side. And I had my own web series called Mad Maxine, where I hate my office job and I beat people up in my office, which was a desk job. That actually turned out pretty good. People liked it. I should do a second series with like a love triangle or something. But I've been producing for a long time my own stuff based off my characters and my crazy wackiness and whatever. So we'll see what happens. At one point I had a bunch of reality TV show producers in a room, and they got me in for an hour. They wanted to make a reality show about me, but they never got it going. And I was like, well, you're lost. So Anyway, I just want to write and create projects that inspire people, and I want to add a spiritual element to it because I've been doing a lot of amazing advanced meditation work the last 8 years. So I want to put little Easter eggs about karma and about the dark side, because that's why we still love Star Wars, because it's about the dark side, the light and the dark, right? It's using the Force, it's using your intuition. I want to sprinkle all that stuff that I've learned in my projects as fiction, because then it's easily digestible instead of a documentary and freak people out. But I love writing work that inspires and empowers people and gets them to be the better version of themselves, and they realize who they really are. Because a lot of people are so programmed by society and the bullshit, they forget who they are, and they're constantly drained. They give out their magic fairy dust to people. And I want to help people to learn how to bring back their energy and empower themselves through my fiction and my work. And that's what I want to do. But I get to figure that out right now because I'm in my 40s and I'm like, well, I can't go down the stairs anymore or do a car hit because I want to live and not be in a wheelchair. So I'm trying to figure out how to, shift in my next career, but I'll figure it out. It'll happen. I just love writing and creating and empowering women throughout time and stuff, but also, empowering both sexes together, because I'm tired of all the division they're trying to make right now. Like, I smell the bullshit. I'm like, no, you're not going to divide people and you're not going to divide the sexes. We need to work together and to realize that we have divine masculine and divine feminine in each of our bodies. And the more we have the divine compatibility of the balance, we are amazing people. And that's what people forget. And that's what I want to put in my work and all the stuff I've done.
What do you mean you can tell that they're trying to divide things? So where's that from?
Well, it's just, there's a lot of shenanigans with I don't like the big media and big tech. I think they're evil, and I don't like a lot of programming. And I think because I was raised in a certain way, they want to, instead of empowering people to come together of different races and cultures, they want people fighting. And I want my work to bring people together to realize, hey, underneath, we're all the same. You may have different skin color and different background, but underneath, we're made of the same divine, amazing energy. And people forget that because there's so much division that they're trying to create. And I want to empower people to work together. That's what I want to create and write and do all my own stuff. That's my vision of how I want to help people in that way. And I'm trying to keep it current with the times, but there's always been a spiritual battle on this planet between dark and light. And every day people have spiritual battles of waking up. Am I going to be an asshole today? I'm going to be a nice person. I don't know. We'll find out. So I help people just, and realize who they are and how they make an impact. And I want to help give people the tools and sprinkle some Easter eggs and empower. And that's why I did Omega 1, was about this woman trying to find out who she is and how she was in a government program to be a clone and to be a fighter. And then she realizes she has to get her power back. Kind of like, when Frodo got his power back and in The Labyrinth, one of my favorite movies, when she realizes, you have no power over me. The Goblin King never had a power over her. She just gave her power away. I want to get people to realize to call their power back.
Sarah, friend.
Yeah, exactly. All these movies I grew up with are now inspiring me to write more movies like that and to inspire this generation.
So, would you not try and re-push Omega 1? Would you not try and sort of sell it again now?
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how, I can do that. It's a well-made project. We had a pilot. We have a synopsis for a movie. We did a motion comic, and we did a full-blown comic series from the motion comic from the series. So we have a whole show Bible. It's ready to go. I got to figure out how to maybe pitch it to other people or whatever. I mean, something I'm trying to revisit now with my former partner. I just have a whole body. I have 20 years of work. Like, I'm ready to go. You want a comedy? Here it is. You want a Western? Boom. You want a franchise comic book? Here it go. It's like, it's just trying to find the right people right now. Maybe they're more open to my work and what I've done. It's just, and people like Dana inspired me. They really did. If it wasn't for people like Dana, I don't think I'd be here today writing my own stuff. So thank you, Dana, for being who you are and, realizing the talent you have and the power and the message she had. Really inspired me. That's why I'm here with her. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother. Like, no, I'm busy. Dana, I'm there.
Yeah, I found Mad Vaccine.
Love you too.
Yeah, I found Mad Vaccine on YouTube, and yeah, I could relate to it. I worked in one of those office jobs, and yeah, it's one of the reasons why I now freelance full time as a writer. And yeah, you absolutely nailed the mind-numbing boredom and just petty politics and absolutely mundane, grey.
You beat people up, didn't you, with a stapler? I know you did in a phone book.
I will never admit to that online.
Have you ever seen what was it, Terry Tate, Office Linebacker?
No.
Right, so it's basically, I think he's an American, I think he might be an American football player, but basically it's called Terry, just type it, go to YouTube, type in Terry Tate office linebacker, and he's basically a linebacker who works in an office, and then people basically have this thing where it's like, I can't remember what it is, like somebody will fart in the office and stuff, and then Terry Tate will literally tackle them. He'll come running in and then do this spear tackle and knock him in, and just go, "Nobody cuts the cheese in the office, Jim! Woo!" And then just walks off. And it's brilliant because he does these massive hits like they do in American football, and he just clatters these people into the water cooler and stuff. It's hilarious. It's so good. He starts going, "Here comes the ping train," because this guy forgot to put his rubbish in the recycling bin. He just put it in the normal bin, and he's going, "Woo woo woo woo," and this guy's panicking away to trying to get it out of the bin to put it in the recycling bin. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Okay, that give me ideas for second season. Those, thank you for that.
Yeah. Check it out. It's called Terry Tate Office Line. It's been out for years, but Terry Tate Office Linebacker. It's so good. So
I'm gonna check it out. Cool, thank you. Gives me ideas. I'm learning now.
What prep do you need to do before every stunt?
It back in the day we'd have, it's just rehearsals. We do rehearsals and fight rehearsals, or it depends, like if it's TV or film, they have you sometimes doing when I did Furious 7, they had us learn capoeira for 2 weeks, which was great because
nice.
Training, I'll take it. I wasn't the most proficient, but I learned some cool tricks because I combined it with my Muay Thai and whatever. But it turns out that 1 week turned to 3 because the 2 male actors had some stuff going on. They didn't want to fight with each other. So I was like, oh, good, you guys be divas and give me more time. So because they were divas, I got to be on the movie longer because they kept pushing shit back. And I was like, sweet. Yeah, Monica Rousey was so cool. She was really nice. Michelle Rodriguez was really fun. We had a cool time with her. And then the other guys were just like la-di-da, being all weird divas. It was like, sounds good to me, guys. Keep doing it because I'm on the clock and you're paying me. Sounds good to me. So, yeah, it depends with every movie. It's always fun. I mean, I don't care if actors are divas or not. It's every job. There's no perfect job, but if you're doing a job you love, you put up with whatever, because it's a lot of egos on set. It's a lot of energies, it's personalities, but that teaches you how to learn how to be around a lot of people. And it's great because you feel like a family every time you're on a movie, regardless of who does what. And then you're sad when you leave and then you start another family again, temporary, whether it's 1 day family, a week, a month, whatever. But I love being around people. You don't feel so lonely sometimes, but at the same time, it's like you got to go home and process all that with all the energy. And, everyone, 120 people looking at you going, you better get this right before lunch because they're all hungry. And I'm like, okay, I can't fuck up right now. I'm looking at you weird. Like, all right. Anyway, so it's fun. It always changes with everything. But I love swords. I love sword work because it's my base, and I love that whole aspect, because when I picked up a sword, I was like, oh, I've had lifetimes with these puppies in my hands. I just knew it. I tapped into those past lifetimes. I was like, yep, been that, doing that, okay. And so
what are your favorite swords?
Oh, rapier and dagger are my favorite. I love double-handed weapons. I think Dana likes too. So rapier and dagger. I even love 2 rapiers. I'd like katana, but I like broadsword. Broadsword's fun. Small sword is cool, but it's very elegant, but it's not as fun as rapier and dagger because you can block into all this crazy shit. And that's my fun. And then shield and sword and shield is fun, but then sometimes you get hit so hard you're like, oh my god, hold on, let me come back. I like just double-handed weapons no matter what, because I like working both sides of the brain. It challenges both. Because when I learned in Ring of Steel, what I love Ring of Steel is they taught me on my right. They're like, okay, change to your left. So I had to learn on my left too.
What is Ring of Steel? What is Ring of Steel?
Ring of Steel was a stage combat troop in Michigan I learned, and they taught me the basis, which is great because they put me on a Boken for 6 months, and then I went to steel. I couldn't even touch aluminum or steel before I was off the Boken. So they taught me old school ways of how to work with weapons. And it was great because it got a great foundation for learning, and great teacher at the time. And but I learned a lot.
Would you ever sort of, because we've had Fran Laquata, who's she is a HEMA instructor, if I'm right, is it Pete?
Yeah,
HEMA instructor. And obviously they do it competitively. There's a guy who works in IT in my company, who is a gold medal winning HEMA sword fighter. Would you ever do it competitively, or is it just something you like, just learning?
Well, I don't think I do competitively, just because I learned how to do sword fighting for real, and then we did it for stage, and then we did it for for movies. But I've gotten just so many different instructors throughout the 20 years of learning. I don't need to do it competitively, just because I'm so in the movie business or film business with my training and my energy and whatever. But I'll tell you what, if me and Dana fell through a portal, her and I'd be badass together. Good luck trying.
I want to see that. I want to see that film.
Because I would snap into that past life, like, okay, you want to fight? Because now I can go through all the way. I don't have to stop at your face. I can go, boom, done.
I'm loving the fact, right? Because we get some guests on sometimes, and they very much are yes, no. There's no elaboration. It's quite hard, sort of, to get.
How boring is that? That's boring.
Exactly.
There's definitely no. That's not happening here. The best sort of guests are the ones who literally you just sort of kind of wind up slightly, and then they just go. They just kind of do their own thing.
I'd be the same thing if I had a show. I'm like, be yourself. What are you doing? Is this zombie form of you? What's going on?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What's the most dangerous stunt you've done?
I fell out of a truck sideways like an idiot. So, this story. Prison Break. I did a Prison Break thing.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever told me how to jump out of a semi-truck. I didn't know. You show up on set a lot of times and they just tell you to do it. And you're like, okay. And so I went out of a semi-truck. I want to do one time because I'm trying to be a one-take wonder. That was my whole motivation for stunts. So I was supposed to jump out of a semi-truck like this. You jump out with your feet and you do a roll, right? No, not me. I Superman'd out like a retard. So that's like Superman'd out like this. Luckily, they maybe put a little bit of a mat under the ground, but it didn't work. I don't know if I hit it. So I Superman'd out like a crazy person, and I had to roll, and I rolled, and I had to run up a hill. Now, I did this with my wind knocked out, because I know it was knocked out, but I held my breath for some weird reason. So I flew out the semi-truck sideways with me and my friend. He went out normal. I went out like this. I ran up a hill. They said, cut. They're like, Alina, what'd you do? And I'm like, what? Everyone started running towards me. I'm like, why is everyone running towards me? I'm on my feet, you weirdos. So they all ran towards me, and the stunt coordinator, I'll never forget, he says, that was too gnarly. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, you can't do that. You got to jump on your feet. That's what they wanted. I was like, okay, fine. I'll jump on my feet. So I did that second and third. The third time they finally slowed down from 18 miles an hour to I think 12 or 13. It felt a lot better, like I was falling on a cloud of puffiness. What do they use? What do they use for Prison Break when they aired it? Take a wild guess.
First take?
The first take, where I go out like a Superman, ass over tea kettle. And to the point where the actress contacted me the next time I was working. She's like, oh my God, I had to go do ADR for that. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But luckily I was young enough, so my neck I fell on my arm. So I did a little arm thing and I fell out sideways. But wow, that was something they offered it to some other women and she passed it up. And now they're offering me those. And I'm like, oh, am I available? I have to go feed the fishes in Tahoe. I'm sorry. All somebody else. I'm like, nope. If I did that, I would have gone and done it on my feet because it was a lot more easier on my body. But yeah, that was not the smartest young thing I could do. But a lot of stunts is you show up and it's trial and error. You're like, okay, never do that again. The hard way or the easy way? Now I learned the easy way. Even the swords in the beginning, I got poked and I got hit and I hit somebody and I was like, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Did I draw blood? And you learn really quickly how to really have your numbers and your systems and your blocks. And you know really quick how to pull a sword because someone's not ready. You got to pull it. Like you can't hit there and smack them. You got to do this whole move where you pull it and it goes right away from them. If you know how to pull a weapon, you're going to end up getting thrown off set. So that's something Dan and Jan I learned and whatever. But.
What's his name? John Rhys Davies, who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings, apparently didn't pull his blows when he was hitting people with his axe. Apparently, I remember some of the commentary about it, and they were basically saying, if the stunt quarters were saying, you do this, but if you do hit us, don't worry, it's not a massive issue and stuff. Just try and do this. But apparently, he was just clobbering these guys with his axe.
Those are kind of days you're like, oh God, here's an actor with a sword. God help us all. Let's Jesus knows how to. It's okay. That's why Dana, like me, and Dana and I come in because we can act and we know how to sword fight safely, which is important with the weapons flying around, sharp, pointy shit. Because actors sometimes get lost, and you're like, you got to be ready for it. You got to think of like 5 things that can go wrong with them, and you got to be ready for every scenario. So you got to have your guard up, literally, to keep your eyeballs in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We figure out how to work with those people, and we make it work. So.
Yeah, one of the films I saw you were in was The Suicide Squad.
All
Where
right.
you played one of the Marines.
Yeah, I played with the Marines when a baby starfish come out and attack us, and I'm in that scene, and it comes to my face, and we fall back, and then we do some other stuff. Yeah, it was 3 weeks in Atlanta. That was a lot of fun. Good group of people, and I learned what a mac and cheese donut thing is. They had a mac and cheese donut truck. I ran for that thing like it was my life depended on it, and it was like It was like a donut, mac and cheese, and a donut. Only in Atlanta can you have that. It was pretty awesome. But
Wow.
yeah,
Wait, sweet donut with mac and cheese on it?
Yeah, donut, mac and cheese, and donut.
Oh, that's weird.
Right?
That's
I had
weird.
to try it though, for shits and giggles. I was like, okay, that was good. I cannot combine that. I just wanted the donut part. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, it was fun working on that for 3 weeks. And
The one thing
Yeah.
I always sort of kind of blow my mind, right? And it's something because this is completely, it's kind of, we're talking about mac and cheese, so I'm going to talk about mac and cheese. But I grew up, when my mother made mac and cheese, she always had bacon on it. It was mac and cheese and there was bacon in it. So when people started giving me mac and cheese and there was no bacon, I was just like, what the hell is this? What is this rubbish? Why is there no bacon in this mac and cheese? And then I was saying, like, Americans, they always just got mac and cheese. It's like, where's the bacon? Where's the bacon?
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask where's the bacon, because that's a good idea.
Yeah, but seriously, right, if you've not tried mac and cheese without bacon, then try it with bacon and then try to go back to it just with, mac and cheese, and you'll go, nah, it's amazing with bacon. And that's what I grew up with. So my mum would make it, she would put breadcrumbs on top of it, but she'd have bacon in it, and she'd stick it in the oven, and it was glorious. And like, I just can't have, like, and my friend came round and she was like, I'll make you mac and cheese, and she made it. I was like, where's the bacon? She's like, what? And I'm just like, the bacon? My mum makes the bacon. So you gotta try it. If you haven't had bacon with your mac and cheese, then you've never lived. You've never lived.
Copy that. Everything I do.
And breadcrumbs.
Yeah, and bread. Seriously, right? So get mac and cheese with bacon in it, then cover the top with breadcrumbs and stick it in the oven, or even if you've cooked, put it in the grill, so it just sort of kind of puts a crispy layer on top. Stick that up. You've got mac and cheese with some breadcrumbs on top. It's awesome.
Nice.
So nice.
Okay, something very weird. Up here in Humboldt and Eureka, there's some really good food, but we can't really get here. One of the things we actually can get here right across the street from my museum in this little cafe is the mac and cheese that you were describing.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Delicious. Breadcrumbs, bacon. So I can get that up here. I can't get, like good Ethiopian food, but I can get that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because I thought I was the only person who had bacon with my mac and cheese, because it seems like everybody else in the world doesn't do it. And I'm just like, what? What's going on? You're missing out. Absolutely missing out. This is another thing, right? This is something that blew my mind. My fragile little mind was completely blown. So there's a guy on TikTok who I follow, and it's called roll for sandwich. So he does like a D&D thing, but he's rolling for basically rolls dice to see what sort of sandwich he's going to make, and he has this really random stuff where he rolls for what bread type he has, what sort of meat he has on it, what sort of sauce he can have on it, and sometimes he has like fluff on it and things like that, some really random things, like chocolate sauce when it's like got bacon or something on it, and he does all these, and it's very good. But he has this thing where he has one where it says butter the bread and roll again, and he says, and he kept on mentioning the UK, and then I thought, wait, the Americans not butter their bread when they do sandwiches and stuff? And apparently, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Do you butter your bread when you make sandwiches?
Butter toast, and sometimes we if it's a sandwich, they put mayonnaise.
See, this is it. This blows my mind as well, because like you, when we make sandwiches here, you butter your bread, like you get sort of like, you can't have bread without butter on it. It's like sacrilege, for just to stick some meat on a piece of bread without butter on it. It's just like, what the hell are you doing? It's just like, and that blew my mind, because it's like, wait a minute, the Americans not put butter on their bread? I'm just like, what's going on?
Oh, we do. I love, I can only eat certain bread as I get older. I like sourdough bread for some reason and some ciabatta.
Oh,
But I like just putting butter on toasted bread with honey. That's all.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Irish butter.
Irish butter, yeah. The thing is, this is a big thing. So, like,
Butter.
there's like, it's weird. It's really strange, but back home in Northern Ireland, we have butter called Golden Cow, and it's really hard to describe. But there's more salt in it, or I guess there's more salt in it and stuff. I came to England and I started having butter here, I was like, what the hell is this? It just didn't taste like butter. And it's like when I go home and I put butter on my bread and I have a sandwich or I have some toast and I've got it, it's like, oh, so nice. When over here, like the closest you can get is maybe like Kerrygold, or I think sort of like Lurpak with the
Kerrygold Irish butter, and that's what we have. That's my butter, Kerrygold.
Yeah. So it's slightly more salty and
big fan.
Yeah, Matt, I got to say something. It sounds like most of your most traumatic experiences in your life have been food related.
Yeah, it is. It's food. It's always food. Where you get, and this is another thing. It's like in Northern Ireland, food is a big thing, but it's about quantity, not quality. So it's just sort of like piled on and things. And you go to places and you just get these small portions, and you're just like, what the hell is that? I just want a mound of potatoes with gravy on it and a bunch of sausages in it or something, and I just want loads. I don't care about presentation. I just want enough to fill me up. And it's just, that's why I like America, because when you go to America, you get big portions and stuff like that. You don't get little piddly little things. And it's just, it's just mad. I think it's just sort of like preconceptions about things. It's like you think this is how you've grown up and this is how things should be. And then you go to different countries and things, and like people are just like, what the hell are you talking about? What is that? And you're just like, what? You don't do that. And you're just like, your mind just gets completely blown. And it's generally with food.
That's true. I grew up Romanian food. Trust me, I know. It's hard to tell people Romanian food. They're like, what?
Well, it's like my ex was Polish, and she made me pierogi, which is quite nice. But she made this thing called, what's it called? Miseria? Is it Miseria? It's basically like cream. It's like cucumbers and pepper and cream together. Mm. And I was like, what the hell is that? And
that sounds nice, actually.
And I was just like, what are you doing? And she's just like, but this is this. And I'm like, but that's cream. You put that on desserts, and that's cucumber. You're sticking that together. It's like, what the hell's going on? It was just like, again, mind completely blown. I was just like, what the hell?
You should just have your own food show, where it's like Matt is continually appalled by the things that are before him and doesn't understand Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
A lot of foodies out there.
Well, the thing is, like, I was so picky when I was younger, like super picky. Like, I wouldn't eat tomatoes in anything until like I think I was drunk in Vegas once, and I just had a sandwich that had a tomato, and I went, oh, you know what? That's not too bad. And I just sort of realized that I could have a tomato and stuff. But it's like back in Northern Ireland, I think everybody's very sort of particular about food, and it's very bland, and they like bland stuff. And then you come into the open wide world of, other countries, and like, there's new things, and you're like, oh, strange new things. I'm not interested. I don't know about that. And then you realize that they're actually pretty damn good. So I'm pretty good now with food, and I try new things. Like I tried a Romanian stuffed peppers.
Yes.
With the I can't remember.
Nice.
So it's basically I made it for the first time the other day. So I got the recipe because I like cooking, and it's basically, so you get peppers and you get pork and rice. What's it called? You'll know what it's called. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it's
that mikite is something else. That's steak balls. It's called steak rice. Yeah, but the stuffed pepper is something else. I forgot.
Yeah, so it's basically you get like pork and you rice and onions and salt and pepper and dill and parsley. You stuff the pepper and then you put it in this sort of tomato and cream sauce. Though I did it with cream cheese, which was rocking, pretty good.
She's good.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, that was I'm pretty impressed.
I got
I like trying new things. Like I love, like I've gone from being the most pickiest
Yeah.
eater there ever was to like just I love like Spanish food. I love making like tapas and things like that. And
But
you
I
know,
love shepherd's pie, Irish shepherd's pie, and what you put in there and the cream. I'm like, oh, bring me that. Oh, yum yum.
oh yeah, shepherd. Okay, there's nothing better. That's the one good thing. So like British food, British and Irish food is very. There's not a lot to it, but it's very. It's very it's like warm and sort of like wholesome, and it's just like a good shepherd's pie, a good fish pie. A good, just it's just potatoes, meat, and a bit of veg, and it's just like boom. Or a stew, a good stew. Nothing better than an Irish stew as well. Just like
Oh, stew good.
Yeah.
I have to go hiking after this. I'm gonna go hiking. Now you're fucking my shit up because now
you'll be like, oh, I'm so hungry.
now
Right
I'm
now.
like,
I'm gonna have me some mac and cheese with bacon right now, with breadcrumbs on top. Oh, here's one. Okay, here's something for you. Is right.
If
Something.
I gain weight, it is all your fault.
Okay, here's something for you. Here's a bit of Northern Irish culinary, a bit of a recipe for you, right? It's called 15s. Now you can Google this. It's called 15. So it's called it. Just type 15s Northern Ireland. It's basically you get 15 digestive biscuits, you get 15 marshmallows, you get 15 glacé cherries, so those cherries that are sort of kind of like sticky, and you get them in a little tub. And you get half a tin of condensed milk. You smash up the digestive biscuits, like so you would do in a cheesecake or something like that, so it's all crumbs and stuff. Stick that in, you put the cherries in, you cut the marshmallows up in, you stick the condensed milk in, you use your hands, mix it all together, stick it on some cling film, or you call it saran wrap, that see-through stuff. We call it cling film. Yeah. We stick it on some of that with some desiccated coconut on the top of it. You make it like a sausage. You make it so it's tight. So you stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours. Then you open it up. You cut it up. It looks a bit like Rocky Road. It's kind of like Rocky Road.
All right, you got to email me that recipe.
It is beautiful. It's so easy to make. You as kids, that's what you grow up as a kid. When you go to primary school in Northern Ireland, you learn how to make. That's one of the first things you learn how to make, and it's so nice. It's very rich because the condensed milk and things like that, but it's so good.
Facebook me that message that whole thing.
Yes,
so,
I will.
I heard marshmallows. I was like, what? Marshmallows threw me out.
And that's the end of Cooking with Geek Pride.
Fried cooking.
Yeah. But seriously, try the mac and cheese with bacon. You'll never go back to normal mac and cheese in your life, unless you're vegan or something like that. But still,
thank you. You ruined now. I got to get bacon on my mac. Sorry, you updated. My bad. You updated.
All right. Okay. Right. Whereabouts are we? Okay. So we've got a new section that we now do because we've got to cater to our fans on TikTok and stuff like that, and so we do this sort of kind of quiz thing at the end. It's basically we pick a franchise, a geeky franchise like Lord of the Rings. We did Aliens last time. Star Wars, something like that. And you pick a franchise, you then pick a character, and then the other people have 60 seconds to guess that character. So I am going to do one for Dana, which hopefully she'll get. Now it's going to be Evil Dead, the Evil Dead franchise. So you could you have to sort of find out which film it is, and then you can guess the character within it. So you have 60 seconds. Everybody else can guess if they wish. By all means, guess away. So it is Evil Dead franchise. 60 seconds. Go.
That's all.
Anybody guess away.
Okay.
We just start.
Just guess. Ask me questions. So which film? So you could go which film. We'll start again. So you basically ask male or female. Which So is it Evil Dead 1? Is it Evil Dead 2? Is it Army of Darkness? Like that. And then I say yes or no, and you do that and stuff. So I will go.
Impressed. Something here.
Say it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
said I was waiting for you to do an impression. Honestly.
Right, okay.
So-
No. So you basically just ask questions and then like
Yeah.
Pete can jump
got it.
in when if you're struggling
All
and stuff. Right.
right,
Okay. So
Is
okay. So
it Army?
okay. 60 seconds. Army of we'll say Army of
Is it
Darkness.
Army of
Army of Darkness. 60 seconds. Go.
Is
Okay,
Male
so
or female?
It is a meal.
You buddy this.
Is it Ash?
It is not Ash.
oh. Okay. Is it one of the Deadites?
It is not one of the Deadites.
Is it a good guy?
Um.
I have no clue.
Yes. For the overarching part of the film, depends on what side you're on. But yes, he is a good guy.
Is it King Henry?
Ah, it is. It is Henry the Red. Very good. Bang on. Nice one.
Yeah, that was all Dana. I was like,
40 seconds. Very good. Yes, we had Henry the Red. Very good. Yep. All right. Okay.
you did the Rings, I'd be all over that shit. But
Oh,
no.
we can do Lord of the Rings. I've got some Lord of the Rings. Well, so Pete, what's your one? What are you going to go for?
Okay, I'm going to go for X-Men.
Okay,
Oh.
X-Men. Okay. So
I've seen it.
we're talking films, Pete, or are we talking
Yes,
comics?
I'm not going to subject you to comics, the films.
Okay. So
Oh,
X-Men, 60 seconds, go.
is she blue?
No.
Is it-
In the is she got? Oh, excuse the X-Men. Is she a part of the X-Men, or are they part of the X-Men?
Yes.
Does she have red hair?
Male or female?
Yes.
Wait, male or female?
Female.
Yes.
Red hair?
Yeah.
The Phoenix?
Yeah.
28 seconds. All right, we're
Way to
storming
go.
through these. Storming through these. Storming.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Alina, give us a franchise, and then we'll guess a character.
Okay. Nom. Oh shit. I have so many. I should know this by now. Okay. Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars. Right, bear with 1 minute. Let me do the timing. So, Star Wars, 60 seconds. Go. Okay, original trilogy.
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back. Oh, sorry. New Hope. Are they in A New Hope?
No.
Are they in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Are they in Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
Lando Calrissian.
Who?
Lando.
Nope.
Are they male or female?
Male-ish.
Male-ish. Okay, male-ish, and he's in Empire and he's in Jedi. But Empire. Sorry, Empire Rebels.
Huh?
Empire Rebels.
No, not the Rebels.
So he's is he Empire?
He's both Empire and.
Oh, is he scum and villainy?
Nope.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. So everybody's got one last guess, and then they have to guess the name. So we've got Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, male-ish.
Yeah, male.
And they are Empire. Did you say?
No, not Empire.
They're
no.
not Empire.
They're the Rebels. They're part of
The Rebels. So male-ish.
Huh?
Admiral
I said
Akbar.
Boba Fett. He said they're
Nope.
rebels. So
No, he's part of the Alliance.
Oh God, I'm complete. Right.
Are they human?
What?
Are they human?
No.
Yeah, okay. Right. So let me think about this. So what's my last question going to be? So we've got Empire, Jedi, not human, male-ish.
Male.
Are
yeah.
they a droid?
Nope.
Oh.
Come on, you guys. So easy.
Is it? Oh God.
And or what used to be a Jedi.
Used to be a Jedi.
That's a big hit.
Yoda.
Yoda, right?
Yoda.
Yes, Yoda.
Oh my God! What the
God.
hell?
You're so
Oh
fired.
my
You're
God! Where
fired.
was my head?
Oh.
I can't believe it, man. Oh God!
And the
Of
Empire-
course it's bloody
Yeah.
Yoda. Ah.
Am I right? He wasn't a New Hope. He was in second.
Yeah, he's only in the
Second
yeah.
Okay, I was right.
Right.
Though technically you could argue, obviously, it's in the original trilogy as well.
Yoda, it's Yoda.
Yeah, okay.
Male. I was like, I think he's a guy. Yeah, it's male. I was like, what?
I'm going to call because you said male-ish, so it kind of threw me off slightly. But
I'm still trying to debate. Like, is he male? I think he is.
yeah, I don't even know. I didn't even have Yoda in my head. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, one of those.
No.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
my. Oh, it's better in person.
Okay, Dana, give us one of yours then. Give us a franchise
Okay.
and give us a character. Say that again.
Hunger Games.
Hunger
Oh.
Games. Ooh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not great on Hunger Games. Okay, so Hunger Games, 60 seconds, go.
Okay. Are they from the capital?
No.
Are they one of the districts? One of the districts?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they in all 3 Hunger Game books?
Are they what?
Are in all 3 Hunger Games films?
Say that again.
Are they in all of the Hunger
Yes.
Games films? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh god.
Do they take part in the games?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
they're not a contestant.
Not a contestant.
Not contestants, but in all 3 films.
Of the lead girl, her daughter, not her daughter, her sister, the sister of the lead girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, can't think of anything else.
Are they male or female?
Yeah. Male.
No.
I'm going to have to go for the comments here because I haven't got a clue what's going on here. Somebody's saying Peta? Peta?
No, not Peeta.
Is it her hot boyfriend guy? Mockingjay's hot boyfriend.
Not her boyfriend guy. No.
Okay, last guess. I haven't got a clue because my Hunger Games knowledge is pretty bad. So one last guess. Fire away.
Oh man, I'm stumped. I've seen all.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not the mayor, is it?
No.
Is it a fashion designer lady? No.
One or two.
No.
Oh, no.
Lenny Kravitz?
No, I love him.
I know.
No
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
No idea.
yeah.
Who have we got? Who is it?
It's Hamish, and he was a former contestant.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Outfit.
Yeah. Okay.
So great. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
All
that was
right.
good. You
That
got
was a
me.
good one. Okay. That's 1, 2. We've done 4. We'll do one more. So I've got one per day for the all TikToks. I'll go for Star Wars. Ooh, or we're gonna go for Lord of the Rings. What would you prefer?
Do Lord of the Rings.
Lord
of the Rings.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go for Lord of
Lord
the
of
Rings.
the Rings.
We'll go Lord of the Rings. We'll go Lord of the Rings. We will go films, so we're not going to go too deep into it. I won't go too Lord of the Rings nerd on you. And we're going to go for... Who am I going to go for? I am going to go for... Okay. All right. So... No, actually, because that'll be a massive clue. Okay, so Lord of the Rings, 60 seconds, go.
In all 3 films.
Male or female?
He is male. He is not in all 3 films.
Oh.
In Fellowship of the Ring.
No,
This is a male. Not all 3 films? No.
he's not in all the 3 films. No.
It's a Gollum.
It is not Gollum.
Is it fair? I can't. The Faramir and Boromir's dad.
It's not Denethor. No.
Are they human?
Not
No,
Denethor.
they're not human.
Are they elf?
They're not elf.
Are they Hobbit?
Are they?
Sorry, are they? They're orc.
Orc? The Orc King. The big guy with that goes after Aragorn. The elf guy that goes after.
Okay, I'll give you. You got one more guess each.
Did you say he was or wasn't an orc?
He is an orc.
Oh.
He is an orc.
He is an orc. You'll know him. You'll know. You might not know his name, but you probably know his face. I'll give you.
Does he have a white face?
I'll give you a clue. He's
the Hand of Solomon guy. The right hand.
Oh, you're talking about Lurtz. It's not Lurtz. The one who killed Boromir. He's in the Return of the King. And more specifically, he's at the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Oh, that ugly looking dude with big guy at the front of the battle, and he's got the weird
eyes.
Yeah, he's called. You're right.
Thing.
Yeah, he's called. He's called Gothmog. And he is the orc with the deformed, the one who sort of spits at the rock when it comes down and sort of crushes a bunch of them. His name actually is the name of the king of the Balrogs from the Silmarillion. So Gothmog is the name of the Lord of the Balrogs from the Silmarillion, but they give him the same name. So that's what he is. There you go, Gothmog. There you go. Right.
Got me though. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I was pretty proud of that one and stuff. I could go because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nerd, so I could go right into sort of Silmarillion and things like that. But I thought I'd keep it.
I've seen the whole thing, so even The Hobbit too. I've seen all that in The Hobbit.
What do you think? All right, because what do you think about? Because we had myself and Pete had a conversation about this last week, I believe. Obviously, Lord of the Rings trilogy. The films were amazing. What did you think of the Hobbit trilogy?
It should have been one film. It should have just been one film, and by trying to pad it out, those movies irritate me so much, and I wanted to love them, but I swear to God, I just think of Legolas scrambling up the falling rocks, and I just want to punch something. It drives me.
Yes. Yeah, that was sort of kind of the conclusion we came to. It's like they stretched it out way too much. I could understand why they added a bit more exposition to it, because in the book it's quite short, and there's certain things which I think worked quite well when they sort of kind of spread it out. But stretching it over to 3 films and then overusing CGI when the last films were a lot about sort of kind of tangible, sort of kind of bigatures, they had practical effects and stuff, whereas this one, it was very reliant on CGI, and you could tell, and it just, like you said, you wanted to love it, you wanted it to be something like, it's Lord of the Rings, of course it's going to be good, but I just came out of it feeling like, what was that? I was just like, I didn't hate it, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it, but it was just like, it just didn't feel like it lived up to Lord of the Rings in my mind.
They were building it. They were doing it so they could make a theme park with rides. Like in the Goblin Kingdom and the barrels and stuff. I mean, they had the casting of God. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Bilbo's the actor that played Bilbo was perfect. I mean, there were so many things that they did.
Martin Freeman.
So yeah. It was like one good film, one long film. It could be like one of those almost 3-hour films, and it would have been probably a really, really good movie. I think I also kind of wonder why the Dwarf King, his hair was blowing back. It's just there was choices in that movie that
that's true. It was too much. It was they should have stuck to more of the character. I agree.
I think some of the comments on Twitch disagree with this. We've got MP Sumdane says, Ma'am, I strongly disagree. You guys can knock it off. I rebuke that. You know, we're not saying it's a bad film. A bad set of films. I didn't. Oh, really? Wow. I didn't hate it. I just didn't feel like. I felt like they could have done what they needed to do in either a long film, like 3 hours, or even an extended edition, even like 2 films. Maybe they could have done it, because some of it I quite liked. Where in the books they didn't talk about where Gandalf went to. They talk about the Necromancer, which is obviously Sauron. And I would have liked them to. I liked the fact that they sort of kind of did a bit of they what happened where Gandalf was, what was happening, with the Necromancer and stuff. I liked that. But there was loads of other stuff, and it was just like, the White Orc. He was killed by Dane, I think, wasn't he? He was killed by Dane. So he's not in the books. He's not in the books. He's not in The Hobbit. He was already dead, but they sort of kind of added him in as a sort of an antagonist, which was weird. And the whole thing, Battle of the Five Armies in the book, it's wargs, goblins, elves, dwarfs, and the Men of Dale. And they kind of didn't do that because they didn't have a warg army. They just had orcs and goblins and stuff, and it just sort of, it was strange because they had some of the sort of kind of, because it's a kid's book, isn't it, Hobbit? So they had some of that sort of kind of, sort of more, what's the word? I can't even think. My brain's gone.
Of course, it's going to be good. The new Amazon series. I was so close to. I was trying to get on that thing. You have no idea how much I tried to get on that thing. They had half the cast hasn't had many credits. I was like, well, if you're going to hire them, why don't you hire me?
Would that be like a dream come true for you? If you
I wanted to be a sword fighting elf so bad, like what Evangeline Lilly's thing was, and that was within my character. But we'll see, maybe the second season. But yeah, I tried to get on it. I tried contacting the producers, the writers. It was.
I'm just so. I'm kind of slightly reticent about it all because I've it's going to be based on obviously Silmarillion stuff because it's going to be Second Age, and I just don't want it to be too. I want it because again, myself and Pete talked about this last time. The Silmarillion's very dark. It's a dark book. There's a lot of sort of dark edges to it, and I kind of hope they add that into this series. I hope it's not too sort of kind of flowery and, I want it not to be like out and out like Game of Thrones, but sort of, again, not to be too sort of kind of, Hollywood, if that makes sense, and sort of I kind of want a good mix, and I'm very, because I want it to be so good. It's like it's the amount of money they've spent on it. I'm just kind of going, please be good, please be good, please good, please be good.
And it's not Peter Jackson, so I was like, you guys did a good job.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I love The Hobbit. I loved everything about it. I mean, I knew, like you said, I could see how it can comprise in 2 movies, but I like how they stretched out some areas, and it did have some filler stuff, but I'm a big nerd, so I liked everything. I just wish there was, like you said, this kind of stuff, some of the stuff was kind of, it didn't work, but I still liked it. I don't know.
It took me out of the story. Some of the stuff took me out of the story. That was my problem with it. But, yeah, I mean, I loved Smaug. I loved
he was cool.
Benedict Cumberbatch's.
Yeah.
I bought
it. Yeah.
Is a dragon.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm just like you like, again, we had this conversation last week, but if you, I'm not sure how much you know about the Silmarillion. You should, if you don't know much about it, you should look up the Children of Hurin story.
Ready yet, but I bought the book.
It's a hard read. Let's just say, if you read it, you may have to read it again because there's a lot of stuff that sort of, it's very complicated. I had to read it a couple of times before it sort of kind of started sinking in, because there's lots of different names in different languages for the same thing, and there's a lot of people and a lot going on. But there's a dragon in it called Galrong, and the story with him and the Children of Hurin is just messed up. Absolutely messed up. Like, it's proper Game of Thrones stuff, and it's like, you should, give it a go, because it's Yeah, it's just mad.
I'm just waiting for the series in September when it airs. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know whereabouts it's going to be from. I guess it's going to be. It might be the fall of Numenor. And the Black Demon.
It's about the fall of Numenor and also about the rise of the Nazgul.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Oh no.
So tail end of the Second Age, then basically towards the sort of third. But yeah. So yeah. Hopefully it's going to be good.
It better be.
It better be. Yeah. It would. It better be.
If I was on it for sure would, but whatever.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I will stop there. That's a whole another hour of me venting.
Okay.
And I killed. I actually have to get.
Say it again.
So I need.
Sorry, Dan. You broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
I need to. I have to get back to work. I took an extended lunch.
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay.
I was just about to say goodbye now. Anyway, so thank you very much, ladies. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been so much fun. I appreciate it. By all means, you're more than welcome to come back on whenever you wish. Our pleasure. So thank you very much for tonight. I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Peter Ray Allison.
Good night, everyone.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. Bye, Dana.
Fredsti and Author. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.